Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com. And normally I put up videos about flying drones, and so this is not anything like one of those videos. But we do have the COVID-19 virus, and everybody's supposed to stay home as much as possible. And so one of the things that I've had plenty of time to do, but I'll just share it with you. I started this, 2 or 3 years ago, started working on this. For years, I rode a Harley, and I wore fairly pointed boots. And then I also worked for a radio station, and I had to climb the tower a lot. So pointed boots with steel arches were a requirement. So for about 20 to 30 years, that's all I wore. In the process, it caused my feet to kind of be pointed like the boots, which made my big toe kind of strange, pushed together and stuff towards the other toes. But in the process, the toenail on the big toe became curled around on each side, and then I would trim it. I'd take a shower, and then I'd get out and I'd trim it. I'd soak it in hot water and I'd trim, but I never could get rid of that little guy that curled down underneath. And so sometimes I'd even cut myself with my knife trying to carve it out. So not too long ago, my wife, I have to give her credit for helping me with this, because I asked her to help me trim those toenails, and she came up with some ideas I'd never used. So these are the tools right here. These are the tools that I use to trim my toenails. And I can tell you, as you'll see in the video that I'm going to have here in a second or two, it's amazing what I learned to do to get rid of all those little guys that curl under. Now, you can go to a doctor and they'll take care of it, but they cost money. And so since everybody's at home on the virus situation, I thought maybe you'd like to try this out. First of all, I don't use these anymore, but I did at the beginning, and I put some. You can take a cloth bandage and put around there, but I always put something there so that when I pinch, it doesn't slide off, especially when you're trying to get underneath your toe and stuff like that. So you might need some of these, and hopefully you got them so you don't have to go buy them. And then some of these. This is very important. This is the part that my wife showed me, and so that's very important. And then just a regular nail file. Now, this nail file is a little different than it's different now than it was. I put tape around there so I can hang on to it really well. I put tape along this side, and the reason I did that is because I was filing. Let me just show you here. I was filing on this like there, not that, on my toe, and then when I got through, the other side had filed away at the skin. So I put tape on there to keep that from happening. But what happens is my big toe, this always wants to curl down underneath on both sides, on both feet. And so these are the things that I learned that my wife helped me learn to be able to fix that. So what I do to begin with is around my big toe, and you'll see it in the video, around my big toe there's a whole bunch of callus. Callus doesn't give, it's stiff. And so when you're trying to get down here to get the edge of this thing cleaned up, that callus interrupts. So you'll see in the video where I actually sand off the callus. And by the way, I do it in the morning when I haven't put my shoes and socks on and I don't have sweaty feet and the callus is dry. It makes it a lot easier. So you got to get rid of that callus, and so you start out like this and then tip it a little more, and then you go around the whole toe. That's where you start. And then you start with after that, after you've got rid of the callus, then you start filing on the nail. Okay, this is the big toe here, and you're filing on the nail. When you get that filed back, way back, then you can see these little guys, these little kremlins down here. And so that's where this comes in. Now, what I've done, and it works, at the edge of these, if you go buy them at the store, the edge is smooth, okay? So you need to change the edge so it's not smooth. And I don't know if I can get it close enough to the camera, but I have worked on the point of that. So what it is, it's like the front of a boat. It bends down this way and it bends down this way. Now I use my father-in-law's sharpening stone, and you just tilt it. You don't have to make it real, you don't have to tilt it a lot, but you tilt it a little bit, and you go back and forth like this, and then you tilt to get the other side, you tilt it the other way. But you may not have one of those, so start out with some wet and dry paper, and like I say, this is the file side is the right side. So then this edge wants to be square, really square, not like it came from the factory, but like you were going to make it by tilting this over this way and going like this and doing it for a while. And this, by the way, is 280. And then you tip it over and do the other side, but you tilt it this way. Okay, so then you're getting, you're wearing off the metal to where these two edges, if you can see that black on there, these two edges they're not sharp, but they're so square that they make good carving tools, okay? But when you get through with doing that, then get yourself some, this is 400 paper, and make it smoother by going back and forth like this on this thing, and make sure it's tilted a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. And then do the other side by tilting it the other way, and you'll get that thing really nice and sharp on that edge. Now it's not sharp enough to cut anything, but it catches on my skin when I rub it on my skin. Okay, now you got this sharp point here. You don't want a sharp point, because you'll see in the video where I actually poked myself. So what you do to get rid of the sharp point is you just go back and forth on the paper and round it off, so that there's no way you can poke yourself with that. And it won't affect the edges over here, but it will affect the point. So we're going to go ahead and tilt it this way, go like this, tilt it this way, go like this, and then we're going to take the point and we're going to go like that, so that that point is no longer a point, because it will draw blood if you're not careful. So I know this is what you do when you're home and you don't have anything else to do, and this is for old guys, okay? Young guys probably don't need to do this, and maybe your wife can do that too. My wife has the same problem, and so we work together on it. But those three tools right there, basically you don't even need this one after you start. Now let me warn you that the first time you do it, it's going to be a little painful, and it's going to take some time to you'll like a couple weeks later you want to go a little better, a little further back, and you can just keep trimming that toenail back to where it's back so far this way that nothing grows out to where the callus is. So that's the idea. Now I'm gonna show the video that I made this morning when I did my right foot, and it took me about 20 to 30 minutes, but the video's not that long because I speeded up and cut parts out. But it took me 20 to 30 minutes to do what I normally do, like every week or every couple of weeks or so. Whenever it starts, whenever I can feel it, the edges are starting to grow out and poke the callus, that's when I go ahead and do it again. So it's easy. And by the way, I use I put my foot up on it's an old desktop computer case with nothing inside, and I've got that. I sit that on the floor, and then I put my foot up on it. In fact, it's useful for a lot of things. I'm sitting on it right now while I'm making this video. So I know I'm probably considered a crazy old guy, but if this helps one person, if it it causes their feet to feel good, I think I've spent my time wisely. So I hope that you're staying well with the virus and everything, and I hope that your family's doing okay. Take care of yourself. Thanks for watching this video, and God bless. Okay, first we have to get rid of all the callus right there. So we hold this flat. We don't go like this or like this. We start sawing away at it. Then we take this, that's the dull side, that's the sharp side, and we clean out this shavings, get them out of the way. You can feel there's something down there. Now we're holding it at more of an angle like that. Get in the front of the callus. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay, now we're going to go against the edge of the toenail. That's real tender right there. Okay. Now there's the culprit way down there. So we're going to start shaving on him. Right there.
Almost got too deep there.
Coming up underneath. That little guy sticking out right there. He needs to go. Okay, let's see what we got over on this side.